मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी, हाउ आर यू? कैसे आप लोग? वंस अगेन वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल. डियर स्टूडेंट्स, माई सेल्फ शिवप्रसाद सर फ्रॉम Shubhra Singh Children Academy. Students, today that is on 19th of September 2020. Dear students, today in our 11th business studies lecture, as in the series of video lectures, you must be watching my videos, and through these videos you must be aware that we have started part B of the business studies, that is trade and finance, and in this chapter number 7, that is sources of business finance, is being taught by me. And in the last video lecture I had covered a summary of equity shares and preference shares. In that video lecture, through distinguish between equity shares and preference shares, actually I had covered two main questions of this chapter, that is features of equity shares and features of preference shares. So like this, in the last lecture I summarized equity as well as preference shares with the help of distinguish between them. Dear students, today that is in this chapter number 7, your sources of business finance, one more topic we are going to cover, that is retained earnings. Today's topic is retained earnings. Dear students, retained earnings, it is one of the internal sources of finance for joint stock company, that is public company. So first of all, this thing should be clear in your mind, that retained earning, it is internal sources of financing. When we talk about sources of financing, as our chapter's name suggests, sources of business finance. So these sources of business finance is categorized into headings, the classified as external sources of business finance and internal sources of business finance. Under the heading external sources of business finance, we talk about shares, debentures, bonds and mutual funds, say for example loan from banks and financial institutions. So all these are the external sources of business finance. Under the heading of internal sources of business finance, we call over here that retained earnings. Retained earnings are also known as reserves. Whatever the profit is earned by the company, so that entire profit is not distributed as dividend to the shareholders. I said that whatever profit is earned by the companies, entire profit is not distributed as dividend to the shareholders. Certain part of the profit is retained Retained means set aside by the companies. I said the entire profit which is earned by the companies, especially I am talking about public company. Dear students, I had told you earlier also, unless and until we name the company in the sense we do not specify as private company or public company unless and until it is said like this, private or public company, only company word is used. If only company word is used, then it goes without saying that we are talking about a public company. So this should be clear to all of you, that whenever company word is used in our commerce field, in this business world, whenever company word is used in the market, so it goes without saying that we are talking about public company, unless it is mentioned like that, private company. Anyway, I was talking about public company, that whatever profit is earned by the company, the entire profit is not distributed as dividend to the shareholders. Certain part of the profit is retained by the company. Retained by the company means what? It is set aside by the company, or we can say that it is kept aside by the companies. Dear students, it is the same like you and me. What did I say? It is the same like you and me, as whatever we earn. Source can be anything, either salaries or wages or business. So whatever you and me earn, or your parents or your guardian earn, so entire income earned by the household is not spent. Then you please, everybody, I want complete attention of each and every student watching this video. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand. My dear students, I have just written retained earnings, just a heading I have written over here, and my discussion has started. Meaning already I told you. Once again, I am repeating it. Anyway, I have not written meaning, the heading like this on the board. Okay, just for your satisfaction, I have written over here meaning. So we are discussing the meaning of retained earnings. As I told you, that whatever profit is earned by the company, the entire profit is not distributed as dividend to the shareholders. Certain profit is retained by the company. It is also called as that certain profit is set aside by the company. So that set aside or that retained profit is called as retained earnings. In general, it is called as reserves also. Anyway, I was giving you the example of household, that whatever income is earned by the household, source can be anything, either salaries, wages, or profit from their own business. So whatever money is earned or whatever income is earned by the household, the entire income is not spent by them. Certain part of their earnings is saved. So why they are saving? The simple answer is for future purposes. Means we know that future is uncertain. Future is uncertain, and for their unforeseen contingencies, people make savings. Sometimes they have certain that targets, that we want to do something, we want to purchase this, or we want to construct our house or repair our house, or sometimes they have their dreams. To fulfill those dreams, people say that we are saving money. So like household, like general public, the same work is done by the companies also. Companies, suppose the company earns certain profit, you assume that it is a certain amount, this is earned by the company. So entire profit will not be distributed as dividend. I want to say that certain part of the earned profit will be kept aside in the sense will be save as reserve, or we can say that, or we can use the technical word is a transfer to reserve. Transfer to reserve, in other words, it is called as retained earnings, which is the topic of the discussion of today. Retained earnings. My dear students, as I told you that like a household, like a normal public who go for savings, means people whatever they earn, whatever people earn, they do not spend the entire earnings, entire income, either salaries or wages. Something is saved for future purposes. Like general public, the companies also do. Companies also do not distribute or spend the entire earnings. They go for investing the entire earnings. Certain part of the profit is retained by them. That is called as retained earnings. So in future, whenever need arises, need of what? Need of finance, need of capital, need of funds. So it is available within the company, in the sense they have kept it as reserves that will be utilized by the company. So it is the very simple meaning is that whatever profit is earned by the company, the entire is not spent. Certain part of profit is kept aside for future purposes. So that which is kept aside, which is transferred to reserves, it is called as retained earnings. So all of you, my dear students, now I think the meaning of retained earnings is clear. By the way, this retained earning is also known as undistributed profit. Undistributed profit. Such profit which is not distributed, or it is also called as reserves. Profit set aside, it also can be said. Dear students, now we are going to see the features of retained earnings, and in the series of features, number one is cushion of security. Cushion of security. Cushion of security, which I discuss in the meaning, same it is cushion of security. So features of retained earnings is number one is cushion of security. Cushion of security. Dear students, sense of security. It is same like household. As I told you that suppose you earn lot of income. Suppose you or your guardian or your parents are working somewhere and they earn handsome money, and in every month that whatever they have earned, and suppose they have spent all the earnings, so they will not have any type of sense of security with them, any cushion of security with them. Means the simple question arises that if in the next month sudden need will arise, sudden need of money, then what will your guardians or what will your parents will do? They will have to beg at somebody else. Means they have to go for borrowings. They will have to obtain loan from their friends, relatives, or from banks or institutions. So instead of going for borrowing, instead of for taking loan from others, this would be very helpful for the companies as well as for household. Means whatever you are earning, you are setting aside, you are keeping it for purpose, for the future purposes. Same thing I told you over here in the features. It is like a cushion of security. Cushion of security, sense of security regarding your future needs, that we have already certain reserves, and we need not to have to go for borrowings. Next one, as a feature which we are going to discuss, funds for new and innovative projects. Funds for new and innovative project. My dear students, when the profit is set aside, when there is a undistributed profit, then that can be utilized for any purpose. It can be utilized for any purpose. Like in this book, reference book which I am following, the second feature is given that for new and innovative projects. So I am just writing over here the projects. Whenever you will write in your exam, so you will write completely the headings. So what does this mean? This means that if the company is having certain reserves, retained earnings that can be utilized for their new and innovative projects, means a proper utilization of the available funds with the company. The best thing is in this that the company need not to borrow from others, or that company does not depend upon the external sources of the company if they are having retained earnings. Got it? So like this, so far in this lecture, as I started with the retained earnings, it is one of the topics of our 7th chapter, that is the sources of business finance. So far we have discussed the meaning of retained earnings or undistributed profit, as well as I have started the features, and in features, first point we discussed that cushion of security, and the second one just now I discussed that it can be utilized for new and innovative projects. Third one, that medium and long term finance. Of course, that depends upon that how much retained earning is there. So it can be utilized for medium and long term finance. I am writing in short form. Whenever you will write the full heading, the complete heading, medium and long term finance. My dear students, it totally depends upon the earnings of the company, or we can say that in which position the company is. If the company is in a very good position, very good reputation in the market, or we can say that company is doing well, earning a huge profit every year, plus the market value of their shares is increasing in the market. So it all shows that company is doing well in the market, plus their value of the goodwill increases in the market value of shares increases. So my dear students, the effect will be what? Their production will increase, their sale will increase. So like this, that company will be able to earn a huge profit. So whenever any company is earning huge profit, that company will be able to maintain huge amount of retained earnings. So that huge amount of retained earnings can be utilized as medium and long term finance. So it totally depends upon the performance, upon the earnings, upon the profit of the company. So like this, first one, cushion of security. Second, new and innovative projects, or we can say that funds for new and innovative projects. And fourth and last one, conversion into ownership funds. Dear students, it is one of the very important discussions of the retained earnings. What is that? Conversion into ownership funds. Conversion into ownership funds, conversion into ownership funds. I have written over here for you people. It is a fourth point which we are going to discuss. For this, I will have to take help of your knowledge of accountancy. I don't know whether your syllabus of accountancy has reached up to balance sheet or not, but at the beginning at least theoretical discussion must have been done by your concerned teacher about balance sheet. Dear students, I am drawing a small balance sheet over here, and I will show you that how that retained earnings will be converted into ownership funds. So first of all, let me rub this small part of this, and then we will discuss this, our fourth point, that is conversion into ownership funds. Just give me few seconds to rub this one. Okay. By the way, I hope by sitting at home, each and everybody is watching my video as well as you are following all the instructions. Okay, so just in this area I am drawing balance sheet. It is balance sheet. I am writing over here in short form balance sheet. Don't read it as business studies. I told you it is the knowledge of your accountancy. So it is balance sheet. Balance, B-A-L-A-N-C-E, balance sheet, S-H-E-E-T, balance sheet. While explaining this feature, that is conversion into ownership funds, you need not to draw balance sheet. You just explain it, whatever you will understand after the explanation. So I am showing you balance sheet, but you need not to show in your explanation. But if you have time or if you have that much writing speed, then you can show also as you wish. Anyway, it is a balance sheet, and in balance sheet over here liabilities side and over here assets side. In liabilities side, it is balance sheet. In balance sheet is divided in two parts, left hand side and right hand side. Means left part and right part. It is my left hand side, it is my right hand, so right hand side. Left side you will get liabilities of the company, and at the right hand side it is asset side. So assets of the company are shown on the right hand side, that is assets side. Once again, for such students, those who have not yet studied balance sheet, accountancy, it is one of the topics of your accountancy. Attend here please everybody. Balance sheet. Balance sheet contains two sides, left hand side and right hand side. On the left hand side, liabilities of the company are shown, and on the right hand side, assets of the company are shown. What is the main thing in the balance sheet? Suppose certain liabilities are shown over here, certain assets are shown over here. The balance sheet must be tally. The total, it must tally. Means the total of yes, dear students, as I was explaining you that balance sheet, how the conversion into ownership funds, means how retained earnings are converted into ownership fund. I told you that balance sheet on left hand side we have liabilities, and on the right hand side we have assets. Say for example, on liability side we are having ownership funds rupees 10 lakhs and retained earnings or reserves is rupees 5 lakhs. So how this will be converted into equity shares, or how this will be that converted into ownership funds? So company will issue bonus shares. Bonus shares means what? That such shares which are issued free of cost. Such shares which are issued at free of cost. In fact, bonus shares are nothing but equity shares itself. What company does, if the company want to utilize, I repeat, if the company want to utilize the retained earnings or reserves which they are having in the liability side, they will issue bonus shares. Bonus shares means what? They will issue the free shares to the existing equity shareholders as free of cost. So what will happen, that these reserves will be converted into ownership funds, as I had explained you, that suppose retained earnings as rupees 5 lakhs. So company issued bonus shares of rupees 5 lakhs. So what will happen, these 5 lakhs will come over here as bonus shares, and the total will be 10 plus 5, total 15 lakhs. On the grand total of the liability side, nothing will change. Only thing is that earlier we were showing the general reserves or retained earnings separately. Now it is converted into capital, that is ownership capital. So it has become 10 plus 5, 15 lakhs. Anyway, over here we finish the features of your retained earnings. I am going to summarize my lecture, that what we learned today. We learned today retained earnings. First I explained you the meaning of retained earnings. Then in features, first feature I explained you cushion of security. Second one I explained you funds for new innovative projects. Third one I explained you medium and long term finance. And fourth one just I finished, that is a conversion into ownership funds. So like this, I hope that retained earnings and its features is clear to all of you. Once again, I would like to thank you very much for your kind cooperation. Enjoy yourself. Don't forget to like and share and comment my video lecture. Thank you very much for kind cooperation. Enjoy yourself.